The wicked mobile phone. My dear mobile phone, which includes my memories, my ups and downs, has been missing since 2 days. Someone must have stolen it. I lost hope of getting it back, and so I had to buy a new one. The nearest mobile shop was few kilometers away. I didn't mind walking. I heard that walking comforts the soul and mitigates depression. It was also an opportunity to think about the brand of the new mobile phone I want to buy and its features. My plan was in progress, except that I stumbled into a solid object on an abandoned street, and when I bent over to check it out, it was my long-lost mobile phone. What a happy surprise. Yes, it is exactly my device, with its broken screen, with the scraps on its plastic back. I tried to run it, but a blank space appeared asking for the password. I certainly know it. I wrote the password, but it didn't grant me access. I tried again. The result didn't change, but in the third time, this message popped out. The password has been changed. Hint. The password is, the year you will die in. What is this nonsense? That whoever stole my mobile must be a psychopath, and seems to be a tech-savvy. I thought, okay, it won't hurt trying. So, I tried putting year 2030, and then 2040, and then 2050. All were incorrect. Then, a horrible thought came to my mind. I quickly wrote 2022. Yes, it was the correct password, but another message popped out, saying, "It has been 2 hours since you died." The alarm woke me up. I said, thank God it was a terrible nightmare. I got off the bed and saw my mother walking in the hallway. I called her, "Mother, Mother." She turned her head to where the voice was coming. Strange. She couldn't see me. The ceiling fan. The ceiling fan in my room makes scary drawings. Sometimes I see scorpions, sometimes snakes. I once saw a Bengali tiger and a crocodile, and only yesterday I saw a man with a machete mowing a victim's neck. I always tell myself, they are just daydreams. Ever since I lived alone in this house, I keep seeing these suspicious shapes on the ceiling. But today, I'm saying goodbye to this room and this fan. Today is my last day in this house. I went down to the landlord to hand him the key, and cynically told him about the fan. He didn't laugh or even draw a smile at his face. He only said, "Be careful of tomorrow, my dear. This is a magical fan, and all what you have seen will come true in the ugliest way possible." I got a little nervous, and laughed, and forgot about the whole thing 2 days later. Now in my new apartment, after a long day, I'm settled finally. I arranged my stuff and was ready to sleep. There is a ceiling fan in this room either. Nice. I turned it on to cool the room, but lights suddenly went off. When they came back, I saw a group of scorpions moving on the floor, shaking their tails in tension, and heard the sound of a machete swinging by the wind. I am terrified of what will happen next. The mirror image. The image in the mirror doesn't look amazing, doesn't look terrifying, doesn't look normal. I stand in front of it in a state of unconsciousness, trying to construct a logic that refuses to come, and wondering, why doesn't the mirror reflect my image? I open the room window wondering about the noise outside. There is a suspicious gathering in the street, cops and an ambulance. I go through people, almost naked, no one seems to care. I look at a dead body of a woman lying on the ground. I swear to myself, if her eyes weren't closed, I would say she is definitely me. The famine of 2025. Dear friend, now we are in year 2025. I am writing to you from a secret room beneath the house with a single well-hidden entrance. Every now and then I hear a sound of tormented rattles, and sometimes a sound of claws scratching the iron entrance savagely. I don't dare to think of who they are. They say there is a famine out there, and a strange infection is spreading, and I believe that. There were cats and dogs wandering around, but they disappeared. There were 2 kids who went out at night, and didn't come back. Sometimes I see the moon from a small hole, with which I retrieve the memories of the past days, but then come a cloud that obliterates the moon concurrently with hearing a bleak, torturous sound. Terror is in everywhere, and I can't leave my spot. I know how it all started. The famine intensified. plants, water, and money ran out. The rich had become poor, and the poor had gone into a dark tunnel. There was a rich class that still had some wealth. At first people would come to them begging, then requesting, then threatening, and then killing. You know that hunger blurs the heart and mind. Picture a father sees his children crying from hunger. He must have told them 1,000 times he would bring them food soon. And when the first one died screaming of his empty stomach, he turned into that monster. Food has become very rare and expensive, but cats and dogs are cheap and abundant. They are not cute animals anymore, they are just food. Until they all perished due to the high demand. Some started hunting snakes and rats. I am truly scared, and many people have disappeared lately. Anyone doesn't come home before 9 at night, we pray for his soul to rest in peace. If you learn anything about an apocalyptic world with savage people involved, then you will know exactly what I'm going through. If you get this letter, you will have time to escape the inferno, but that means I, unfortunately, will not. The abandoned planet. I heard a sound of a flute coming from behind those withered leaves. It reminded me of a captivating music waiting a grandiose moment of excitement to begin. But I didn't care. I was busy with chowing a rotten apple left behind the mob who planted misery in this desecrated land. Then I heard clandestine sighs coming from under the barren sand. I thought, there must be a living creature buried down there, not a human, because the spot is too small, not a reptile, because the sand doesn't move. My hands refuse to obey what my mind tells. 70 inches I dug up until I touched that thing with its scaly rubber body. I moved my hands back to let the thing free its head. It was truly scary, although peaceful. But what terrified me the most was his frightened look at something behind me. This scaly creature fears what appeared like a human shadow on the sand, and I was lucky either, because I managed to hide behind a big rock and buried myself under the sand quickly. We, the descendants of Andromeda, fear no more than these humans who invaded this abandoned planet. The last 5,001 people on Earth. The last fortress of biological war survivors is about to close its doors and create a microstate until climate purification comes to an end. They were 5,000 people, divided into senior management groups, community elites, guards, craftsmen and the general public. The guards' instructions are clear: whoever comes close to the fortress wall, or tries to climb it, must be eliminated on sight without a second of hesitation. That's because the outside world is contaminated, and any new intruder may carry death with him. Inside the fortress, however, an organized secret revolution that called for equality and better living began. So the wills of men clashed. Neither the words of amity nor religious Presbyterianism worked. Source started to brandish in the gloomy atmosphere, conspiracies and intrigues became a habit. And the first drop of blood was shed. 2 weeks later, a poor lonely child passed through the doors of the fortress, entered the door without being stopped by anyone, wandered through his chambers without being stopped by anyone. Utter silence was so creepy. He thought of staying inside for a while, but he couldn't find food. Plus, there was unpleasant scent coming from 5,000 scattered bodies, if only he could count.